Hey, this is Chris from Kydex. We are out here at the office building today. It's not very windy, but I'd still like to go through how to set up your wind catcher unit. So let's do that now. So here we are. I have the two bags laid out here. This one we have the tower and the blades inside, and this one we have the boom and all the equipment. Let's come and take a look at what's inside the bags. So let's start here. So inside here we have the blades and they are encased in this protective foam. And then we also have the tower here. First we want to start with laying out the anchors, and I have them over here in this bag. Let's take a look inside. So in this bag I have the Mainboom. It's this one. We got the blade spinner and we got the whole gearbox assembly. And then we have the ground station. And then we have some moment transfer arms. These go into the gearbox. And then additionally, we have the belts. This is a turbine we have already used a bit. So here are the belts, and they have the carabiner clipped into them already. And in this pocket over here, I have put the ground anchors, the foot plate, and then I have a tool here. This is a ratchet wrench. I really like to use the ratchet wrench with these ground anchors. It makes it super easy to drive them into the ground and also take them out. Let's put the ground plate and lay out the anchors. So first off, we want to place the ground anchor. We want to find a suitable spot where we have enough space around us to where we can set up the turbine. And then I want to place the foot plate first. So I'll mark the center spot here, and I press this into the ground with my foot. Now I have a hole down here in the ground. I can use that. You can also lay out a small something. That doesn't really matter. The next thing is that we want to place the ground anchors. So for this one, we're going to use the measurement string that's tied up on the foot plate here. So I wind this one, and now I can place this one back inside. But I just wanted to show you this. So on it, we got sort of a cross. There's a line going here, and there's a line going here. We're going to use this line to measure out the angles for the ground anchors. So let's place it. And now I have the lines in this direction and in this direction. So I'll just start whatever direction I want to. Take the line out, follow the line on the foot plate, place it down. And then I just want to position the anchor near this. It doesn't have to be into the hole. This just has to be kind of near this one. I place my ratchet wrench on top of this one. And then I want to have a little bit of an angle that's leaning into the tower here. Ideally you want to place it with the lines. So let's drive this one into the ground. I leave up a few centimeters of ground anchor. And now we go around and do this all around. Next anchor, take the string, follow the lines here, position the anchor and drive it into the ground. All right. For tidy's sake, I'll just rewind the string here. It's a good idea to do figure eights on it. And then you have a small notch down here that you can secure it in. There we go. All right, now we want to place the belts and test the anchors as well. So next up, we want to place the belts. This is a little bit tricky. You want to go down to the ground anchor, take the belt. This is how we like to do it. There's no right or wrong in it. You just have to secure it properly. But what we like to do here at Kydex is we want to find the stitches, and then we want to do a sort of self-tightening loop. So what I have is the stitch up here, and then I take some string, and then I take my hands through the loop, and I reach in and over like so. And this way I can get sort of a P shape. it's this way to you. A P shape here, where if I insert something in here and tighten on it, it's just going to tighten more and more and more. So this is what you want to do. Let's try that again. So find the stitches, flip over here, P shape seen from your side, and then position the string over the ground anchor here and tighten it up. Now you have a loop here that's secured into the ground. If you have a lot of stick up here in the anchor, it can be a good idea to secure it further down. Just want to make sure that this loop down here doesn't come up when you pull it. And now we want to test the anchor. This is really important step, because if you don't have enough holding force in the ground, then you could risk that the turbine falls over and it breaks. So what I like to do is get a pretty wide stance here with the loop, and then I want to lean on it with as much force as I can, and that's not coming up. Ideally you want to pull 40 kilos of force, and we'll go around and do this for all the anchors. Important to test all of them. Alright, now we are ready. We already have the carabiners attached here, so let's assemble the tower. Alright, I got my tower out here. I have already attached the setup leg. This is a leg we used to set it up with, so that's already attached. You'll need to do that when you get the cardboard box when it arrives to you. So first we'll find the loop down here where the wire is, and then we insert this one in here. So now we have the whole length of the tower. And then I want to tidy this mess up already. Already made a bit of a mess. And I have already attached these guy lines. I've already attached those. There's a small hook that you can wind it up to. So for now, I'll just put these away. I like to put the top of the tower sort of on top of the footplate here. That's a good starting point. Let's go down to the other end and get the guy lines, or the tower lines. So these are also wound up on the piece here. Take them out of this notch here so they come loose, and then again they are wound in figure eights. So we'll just unwind these. There we go. And now we want to put the lines, these tower lines, up to the top. So what I like to do, you can take one at a time, or I like to take all three at a time. I take one that's pointed up, and then I take the other ones here to the sides. And then I can grab, in one hand here, I can grab all the lines like this, and just take them down. So here's the one line that's to my left. I lay that down here. This is the middle line, this is the right one. I lay the right line over here. And now I want to find these small ears that are up here. So what you want to do is come from down there where it just came, stick it up, in, and just over like this. So when it pulls, it's just going to be sitting on this one. And we'll do this for the other two lines as well. Get this a little bit out of the way. There we are. So let's take the top one, or the one that's up, check that it's clear all the way, and then we lift up these arms. These are the tower arms. There is sort of a helix shape or spiral cut in this one, so you can just pop the line into this hole from the outside. And then down here you really want to be careful with this mechanism at the moment. This one can move up and down like so. And you really want to have it up as you move the arm over. So like this, and then pop it down into place. This is super important. You risk breaking the part here. And the two first ones are pretty easy, and the last one takes a little bit of an effort, because that's the one that tightens everything up. So let's do that. I'll show you. Next one. And the last one into the slot. Make sure that it's up, and then you just tension it over like this, and it comes into place. And now we have assembled the tower. It should be pretty stiff, these lines. You should be able to hear a small note. Don't know if you can make that up on the microphone. Yeah, maybe you can. Something like that. If it's not, you feel that it's a bit loose, then there is a tensioning mechanism down here where you can take this one, twist it, and then counter rotate this one to tighten it even further. It's a little bit hard to do. The lines will stretch a little bit over time, but you can do small increments here. You could also detension the whole thing, tighten a little bit down and try again. Alright, next up we want to position the tower and to get it completely vertical. So we come back to the top here, and this is the place where I'd like to place it over the footplate. And then I like to place the tower in between two of the ground anchors. So I like to place it like this. Then I come up to this. This is the guy spinner plate that has the guy lines on it. So up here, I like to position it like this. So I got two to my left here, 2 ears here and 2 ears here, and 2 of them are sticking up and 2 of them are pointing down. So if the tower is in this direction, then I want to take, you should imagine that the tower sort of has to come up like this, and then I want to find the correct lines going over to the correct anchors, so we don't twist all this up. It's easy, if you do twist something up, it's easy to take these off. You can just pop them out like this and switch a pair or whatever you want. But let's try and do it properly. So I'll take the 2 that's pointing up here. This one to my right, I want to take out over here to the anchor to my right. So I'll just take it like this. And then I want to hook this in straight away into the carabiner. So just hook it like that. I'll take the next one. And now the 2 little bit more tricky ones, but these are the lower ones. The one here to my left goes out over to the anchor to my left. And lastly, of course, the last one. Here we are. Now we want to take the tower, tilt it upwards, and see that it's vertical. Let's lift the tower up. So this can get a little bit awkward. I'd like to step into the tower like this, and then I'll just slowly bring it up like so. And you might have to go around loosening these, or maybe they're too tight. You want to loosen them, or maybe you actually want to tighten them a little bit more to get the tower aligned. So do like this and position the tower like so. Now that there's no weight on the turbine, it's not so important, but as you try to load it up, it's very important that you get the cable into the slit down here. So there is a small aluminum part in here, and you want to position the tower exactly on top of that one so that it can freely rotate. So now we have it up, and now we want to make it straight. So a technique that I like to do is I'd like to just start with one line. It's going to be this one over here, and I just grab it like this. Because I did the loop from down below with the stitches with the ground anchors in here, then I can just pull on it like this with one hand and actually position the tower. It makes it much easier to do it with this technique. So I'd like to hold it with one hand here and actually apply a little bit of pressure to it so I can sort of get it level. And from this direction it looks okay. We'll go and double check this. A little bit of pressure. Now I know this one is fine, but that one over there is not fine yet. But I'll just go to this one next. Again, grab the loop here, apply a little bit of pressure, tightening it up. That seems about right. And now I can check the other two ones. I'll just do a little bit here. That looks sort of okay. And this one. Now I can see that it's leaning a little bit that way, so I want to correct it over here. You want this pretty tight in the end, and I think I have enough slack in it still. How's that looking? That looks good. And then to the last direction, that also looks good. So when you are satisfied with all this, you should have moderate tension on the lines. Now you want to test everything and tighten them up even more. So just grab the string and tighten them up properly. They should be pretty tight. You should also sort of be able to not lean hard, but lean a little bit on it. Like this. Now it's getting tight to pull. This is the correct tension. If you come over here and have a look, it doesn't really play a sound, but it's still pretty, it's pretty tight, this one. So that's how you want to do that. Now we'll lean the tower down and we'll put up the blades and rotor. Let's do that. When you position the tower down, now it gets a little bit more important how you do everything, because you have to orientate towards where the wind is coming from. So let's say the wind is coming from your direction, so it's coming from where you are seeing this, and then it's blowing in this direction here. Now I want to lean the tower downwind from that position, and then you can say, it's pretty easy now. What if the wind was coming from over there and you are completely in between? Then you can just choose either side to lean it towards. You just want to choose the most downwind direction that you have. So what we're going to do is, first of all, we want to rotate the tower. It can freely rotate like this. The lines up there are looking good. And now we want to rotate the setup leg that we have here. We want to position that downwind as well to the direction that we want it to lean to. And it's always going to lean to one of these ones. So we'll make it free to rotate. And now we go and loosen two of these. So this is the one that's the most upwind. And I want to loosen this quite a lot. So this one is slack, like so. And then I want to loosen one of these, also a little bit. And I remember which side. So now I took the one that's to the right, seen from the upwind side. So seen from this direction is the one to the right. I want to remember that so I can keep the tower still vertical. Then we take the carabiner off here, and you want to hold on to this, and you can use the carabiner as a handle. And then now there's not a lot of weight on it, so we just want to push the tower over. It actually doesn't want to come over. What we'll have to do is we'll have to loosen this one even more. And now it can fall. So when you come to a direction like this, you can use this one as a handle. And you always, this is very important, you always want to step in with your foot here on the plate. And you can also grab the line up here or wherever you want. And you just want to position this down slowly. There we go. So now we are resting on the ground with the tower. We have tension on this line. And we have tension on this line. This is going to stabilize the tower from any side movements. And then we have the last point of contact is from the setup leg to the ground. Now we've got a pretty stable platform here to work on. Now we want to position the boom onto the top of it. So let's grab that. So on the boom here, I have the tower top node. This is the thing that's going to interface with the tower, and then we have the high-speed gear and the low-speed gear. In here we have some electronics, and this is the generator. Here we have the pitch system, and here are the blade spinner. This is the thing that the blades are going to mount into. And down here below is a string tensioning system. So let's put this one to the top. If you want to come over here behind me, then one thing I can see immediately is wrong is the tower is not orientated in the right direction. So you want to rotate the tower, and this can be a little bit tricky. You can see I got some problems here. All right, I just made sure that the leg here is in the right sort of direction in this one. So we have this node up here. It has this sort of feature in here. This is the one that you want to be facing. So you want this side pointing towards yourself. And then I'll take this one, open this one. Is this one is not already loose? Put the cable that's inside the tower through, and then position everything on top of it. And I slide this one down until I cover it about here. And then you want to lock this one. This one is pretty loose, so you can tighten it up a little bit by doing a rotation or two. And now it's pretty tight. You just want to put that one over so you get a little bit of tension on this cam lock. Then you want to take the cable and put that up into the plug. There we go. Oops. All right, next up, we want to put the moment transfer arms in, and then I want to show you how to set up the blades. The moment transfer arms, they have a small bolt down here, and you want to find the right channels for them here. You can freely rotate this one as you go, so that makes it easier. So you want to just align that with the channel and stick it in. And then you want, when you are fully inside of the channel, then you want to rotate them out like so. And you should feel a small click when it does it, that it's sort of engaged in there. And rotate. And as you can see, I also rotated so I don't have to go around the whole turbine. There we go. Now we want to have the one of the moment transfer arms here. We just want to have that pointing downwards, and then we'll take a blade. For the first blade, it's easy. For the second one, it's hard, and for the third one, it's pretty easy as well. But what you want to notice here on the blades are the different lines. These are wound up here on a figure 8. So I'll just undo this, get all the lines free. Here we go, and here we have 5 lines. Let's just go over what we are seeing here. So this is the foam blade, and this is the fairing. And up here we have what we call the blade spinner. Notice that we have written some text on this one. So this is the inside of the airfoil, and here it says face towards tower. So you have to notice that. And on the blade spinner here, there's also some small text that says face towards tower. You can also see it got sort of a tail, this one, and this one lines up. This line here lines up with the fairing up here. So you want to notice this when you set up the lines, because it's important. Down here we have the pitch rod. This is what allows us to pitch the blades, move them like this. And the leading edge on this one, so the one that's pointing forwards, has a color code. So this one is the orange blade. You will have to notice that. So and we also got another color code, and it's this line down here on the blade spinner. This is blue. This is our downwind lines. These make a triangle that makes the whole structure very, very stiff. We'll do that last. But let's put this one on. So let's just start over here. I want this blade spinner about halfway up the boom here, sort of like this. And then we just do these into the cups, like so. And then we want to start down here. Or I'd like to start down here, there's no real rules for it. Then I want to find the 2 lines that are attached here to the blade spinner. So that is not the triangular lines. So these are the 2 that is not color coded with the blue color. I'll grab these 2. I'll notice the orientation of this one. The blade can be sort of towards the tower. So this one is pointing up towards the tower top up here. And you want to make sure that you have the right the right orientation of the blade spinner as well. So you grab these two lines. This is my right one. I'll do that down to this moment transfer arm down here. And again, what we do here is sort of we make this P. So if you come in and take a closer look, you have these loops on the end of the lines. So again, instead of taking whole hand through, we just poke 2 fingers through, and then we want to make this loop like so. So now I have seen from my direction I have a P. I'll have to orientate it like this. If it's from your view, then I got sort of this P shape. Let's do that again. So stick the lines through, fold it over, and take them into the thing. And you can test it, put a finger inside of it, and just see that if you pull on it, then it's just going to be tighter and tighter and tighter. So you want to take your loop here, and then you want to position it on top of the ears here, like so. And let's do that up here again, slowly for you. So up here, and you want to position them. You of course need to choose the 2 ears that are facing the blade. The other ones pointing in the other direction is for the other blades. We just did the two lines down here, and now we want to find the correct color code. So you can take either of the two lines here from the pitch system. You want the one in the leading edge, and that's color coded. In this case, what I got here is the orange one. So you want to orientate this one to the orange spinner up here. So what I'll do first is I'll just rotate this one over. Again, do the loop and position this over this ear. The other string here down from this pitch rod, you want to position that on one of the ears down here. It doesn't matter which one. Again, do the loop over. You can give it a little tug to make sure that it's on there. The first blade here was easy because we could just rotate this one. The next blade is the tricky one. We want to put that in the correct orientation, and it's important to match these color codes because the whole turbine has been aerodynamically calibrated when you receive it, so it has been matched to these colors up here. So it's important to respect the colors. Let's get another blade. I'll take a look at it, unwind the strings. And then I'll take the leading edge string here, get that out, and then I look for the color. So this one is the black one. So I want to put that to the black nose over here or ear over here. So this blade I know belongs over on this side now. Let's go to this side. Put it into it, secure this down, doesn't have to be tight. Again, this one, face the tower, orientate the blade spinner here, again so the text are aligned and not wrongly mismatched. Get the 2 lines, the one that is not blue, get the 2 other ones. Oops, got a little bit of entanglement here. Let's do that. Get them here, take them up, do the loops over these ears, like so. And you want to match this one. So I got the black one here, goes to this one over here. And this one goes to its ear over here, of course. We want to get the last blade. And put this way. This one is a tricky one. So one technique is to do it like this. Put it in and have it on your shoulder like this. If it's a little bit windy, it can be confusing. So what I actually like to do is I actually like to position it like this. If it's very windy, then it can also be tricky. You can maybe put a foot on it or something. But again, I want to match these ones. So I make sure that this spinner down here is in the correct orientation. And then I get the two lines that are not the blue line. And I put them on this one up here. Now I sort of have some strings to help me hold the blade while I get it into position. So, and I can freely move it in here now. So just take it up, hold it, lock it in. And now I can leave it hanging like this and it's supported. Take the last lines. Hopefully you have the green one now that matches the green one up here. If you cannot reach, you can always lift the blade up a little bit. Then it makes it easier to get the strings to reach. So lastly, we want to take the blue lines. These are the triangular lines. These are going to hold the blades in, give them stiffness to the whole structure. So what you want to do is you want to orientate these in the correct orientation. So I get a blue line from down here, and then I know that this blade is pointing sort of in this direction, so I want to go over to this one over here. And this might be the most tricky one. This connection over here. Climb through, and then I get over here. And if you come just super close in here, again I made the small P loop here, and I want to loop around the tail of this spinner down here. So now I have it there. And it looks a little bit of a mess, all the lines now. We're gonna slowly bring this one down in a minute, and then we'll need to see that everything is attached correctly. Just do the last two ones. This one, like so. And then we'll take the last one here. Make the P over its tail. And how do we tension everything up? So you want to make sure that this one is far out in this direction. You can sort of spin this handle here, and then you want this pretty far up in this direction. Otherwise it will be really hard to tighten everything down. So just spin this one up as far as it will go. This seems about right. And then I'll slowly take this one down. And it can be a little bit tricky with the ground and everything, so you might have to sort of lift the blades up if you are caught in some tall grass or whatever. But bring this one down, push it down with my fingers here, and then I want to check all the lines. Got some entanglement here. Just want to unwind that. This looks good. This still looks good. So we'll go a little further. And now I get down to this point where this piece, this spinner, threaded spinner ring here, that can mate to this one. So I want to screw these together, lock these in place. So we are almost at the bottom. Just have to be like that. You don't need to tighten it a lot. And now you want to tighten this handle here. And as you can see now, we got a little bit of some slack lines here. We can do like this. There is also another option actually, I forgot to mention. You can take this leg down here, and if you are at a shallow position, you can actually press down on this one, and then it will release from up here. I'll just press it down right there. And then I can slide the leg down like this, and I can get a little bit more clearance to the ground. So, okay, so let's tighten this one up. And you can see now that the lines, they will start getting tighter and tighter and tighter. So here I am almost at the end. I don't want to over tighten this. I'll just stop before the end, and that's fine. What you really want to look for, if it has to be completely correctly, is that you want a small gap up here in this one. So this whole pitch system here, that has been that is spring loaded. So if I take my hand down here and push it down, you can see I can sort of push it a little bit down. It's very hard. But you want to look for a small gap here of about 5 millimeters. I'll check the lines now, that everything looks correct. I don't want lines that are sort of twisted over and caught like this. I want them to be free and clear. And the last check is you can take these two ones. This is the pitch system spinners, and you can put them together, and you can put them apart, and feel that everything moves freely and without much force needed. And you can see all the blades. You can see all the blades they are turning. This is what you want when you take up the turbine. I'll just leave the rings in a position like this. That was how to attach all the blades. Now let's lift up the tower. Alright, let's lift up the turbine. This is the most critical part, that you get it right, because otherwise you risk that it's leaning over or you can damage it in some way. So we got everything set up there, down there. We checked all the lines, they're good. So now we want to come up to this place. Remember, we got the guy line string here. I got it up here, and I got my carabiner that I'm going to use as a handle for pulling it up. Now it's a lot heavier compared to before when we put it down. So, and it's very, very important that you put your feet here on the ground. This one is not completely on the top of the plate, but that doesn't really matter that much. It just have to be tension on these lines. So put a string on it, and then we're going to lift it up like this. When you get to a position about here, you can move away from the foot. And then we just want to secure this one. Let's just try and repeat that one more time. So I can take the carabiner out again here. The setup leg is still loose up there. I can approach the turbine slowly. I got the handle completely way out here. And I position a foot down here. And then I'll just let it lean slowly. If the blades are going to stick into the ground and you have wind, then you can bring up the turbine a little bit more, let it rotate slowly around, and then put it down. Otherwise, you might have to take it completely up again, find a stick, and rotate it with your hands a little bit. It's usually not a problem when you have wind. Let's lift it up one more time. Again. So when you're down here, foot on it, and you just can lean back. It's heavy up until sort of this point, and then you can also let go of the foot. In here, make sure to clip it to the right one. You can pull a little bit on it, and that's it. You don't want to tighten them just yet, because the foot down here has come a little bit off the plate. So before you tighten everything down, you just want to take the tower up. The turbine is pretty light, so you can just take it with 2 hands or 1 hand and then just put it into place again. Make sure the cable goes into that one. Make sure it's not clogged with dirt or anything, because you might damage your cable. Now in this position, we're just going to tighten everything down. And remember, this was the one that I loosened, and this one over here to my right. So I just want to tighten these 2 down again. Give it a good tight strings, and pull this one also pretty tight. There we go. That's good. And then you just want to snap the setup stick here into place. It has some small hooks up here you can come in and see. Just has this catch up here, so you can just snap that into that. Then it's going to stay there. Let's see how all the electrical stuff sets up. Today we won't be able to spin it as there is no wind, but then you'll know how to do it. So let's hook up all the electronics for the wind catcher. So what I got here is an extension cable, and you always get one of these with it. So what normally is you only got this distance. It's quite nice to get a little bit more distance to the turbine, to your battery system. So we just plug that in there. And now today I have my EcoFlow. This is a River 600 unit. And this is our ground station. So it's pretty important that you get this right and connect everything in the right orientation. Otherwise you might risk damaging either your battery unit, the ground station, or the turbine itself. So notice on the labels and read up on how you're connecting everything. You could also be connecting it to your own batteries in your RV or your camper or whatever. So make sure you read a little bit into how to connect everything in here. So the first thing you should notice is the input side, and this is the power in from the turbine. It also says here on the with text down itself, and this is the thing that got a single end. So this is the turbine side. So we want to connect the turbine into this one here, and it should also match your ends here. And then you wanna, if you're not running directly to a battery system, then you wanna pre-charge this ground station unit here with 12 volts. And in all normal power stations, you have a 12 volt output. If you don't have the right adapter, we also supply them. Make sure you have the right adapter. But in this unit, it's here. And I haven't turned on anything, but you could actually turn it on. And then, of course, I want my output in it as well. And that's on the river unit. It's over here. So we want to stick this in here. Here we go. And then let's turn on everything. And turn this one on. Let's see if I can do that. There we go. And now you should see that the screen down here has started to come alive. The turbine will not start producing power right away. Firstly, you want to take this unit here and make sure that it is set to the right settings. So we have a button down here. Come closer. This is a little bit tricky to show. There is this button over here that you can use to tap through the menus on the screen. So I'll tap it once, and then I get some basic stats. I'll tap it again, and then I can see sort of what my settings are. So at the moment, I have an output type is MPPT, and this is the correct one for this one. And then I want to double check that the voltage and the amps are correct. If you have a too high voltage or amps for your unit, then you risk damaging this one. So that would be really unfortunate. Make sure that you check up on what it can take. Usually it's written somewhere on them either, and I think on this one it's written down here on the bottom. So read the label, make sure you don't connect anything and risk damaging your units. So if you want to change anything here, there is the fourth tab, which is the Wi-Fi. And if I go to this one, you can see I can tap through all the pages here. And if I hold the button for a long time, I'll activate the Wi-Fi. There we go. It says the Wi-Fi name and also the password on the screen here. So let's go to the phone and see what we can do. So on my phone, I'll open the Wi-Fi, and then I should connect. I can see it's already auto-connected now. On this one, it's called VC ground. It also says here on the screen. So I'll connect to that one. I'll press it. And then it prompts me to go into its own web page. You can also go to the IP address. We'll post that down here somewhere. So in here I can configure a lot of different things. There's the battery system type. Let's go into that one first. And here you can change what you want. If you want lithium or lead acid, the voltages, stuff like that. We don't want that. For this one you can also configure a resistor if you want that. You can take the max power, the voltage, the amps, all this stuff if you want to just dump all the power you generate into heat or something. But this one, for the power station, we want the MPPT unit. So I'll go into this one, configure, just try again, take this one tab, power station /MPPT, and then I can rearrange the voltage. So let's say this one, I think this one can take 25 volts. So we'll just type, let's type 24. And for the current, let's just do 15 amps for the moment, just to show it. And then take a bit of time, and then I'll just activate the settings. Once I do that, I should be able to again scroll through the screens over here on the right screen, and it should says 24 volts and 15 amps. It's a little hard to read here on the camera. If you are satisfied with it, you can double check it up here, and you can close the Wi-Fi settings like this. And now the hotspot just dies. You can close this one. Now we have everything configured here, so let's start the turbine. So to start this turbine, it's similar. We go into the Wi-Fi, and the unit up here is called wind catcher. So we'll connect to that. Connect, even though there's no internet. And then my phone here, it prompts me to sign into the, it has this pop-up thing, you know, from hotels and stuff. Like I can press this one, and then I should come into the start thing on it. And here we have the turbine app, and it's pretty basic. So there is a start and a stop button, and it switches. So if I press start here, you should look up at the turbine. It should change the blade angles slightly. I don't know if you can see that. So I'll press it now, and then the blades, they position themselves to go into the start mode. And then it should, if we had any wind today, it should start spinning and should start charging the battery units. That's how it works. And of course, to stop it, just press stop, and you should also be able to see the blades. They'll move up again to the idle position. So that's how it works. So let's just briefly go over how to take the turbine down again when you want to move on. So first off, it has been running. If there was wind, it would be spinning right now. Then you want to go into the turbine controller or the app, and then you want to stop it. The blade should go up like so, and it should come to a stop or almost stop. It can, if there's strong winds, it can turn around slowly. But now it's sort of stopped, and now we can actually disconnect all the electronics. The turbine will not spin up. So first off, if to do this the right way, we want to turn this power station off. If you don't have a power station, you can just cut the batteries. So I'll take out the input to the power station, or the output from the turbine, and I can take out this 12 volts. And then we can also disconnect this one, and we can put this away if you want to. And bring the turbine down, it's similar to when we took it up, just in reverse. So first, we want to make sure that the leg here is free. And then we want to, again, the wind could have been shifted, or we could have done it something else. So say the wind is coming from over here now and flowing in this direction. And the turbine would then have yawed into this position. So you always want to bring it down in that direction. So loosen one of them to the side a little bit. And then we want to use this one as a handle. So I'll take it, loosen it a little bit. And now I can grab the carabiner. And then I can take that out from the nylon belt. And again, make sure that your setup leg here, you can hold it like this. Make sure that the setup leg here is loose. And make sure that you position your foot here. And then you just want to bring it down, like so. There we are. And now we are ready to dismantle everything. Pack it up nicely, put it back, and then on to the next adventure.